once again joined by Temp username, and we are here for part 9, issue 9 of the Injustice comic series. So if you haven't checked out the previous episodes, definitely go do that. Follow along with the episodes as we go along. A new one each day for the entire series, so make sure you subscribe and like if you haven't already. Let's jump right into issue number 9. First of all, we did have a nice evil Lex Luthor stare.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, yes.
Very obsessed and more probably the most traditional Lex we've gotten yet.
Sure. Definitely scheming, that one. He's probably got something up his sleeve. And then next we have Batman revealing himself as Bruce Wayne, because as Huntress is having a little argument with him, a little tiff, a little taff, as you might say. She calls him Bruce, and then she kind of stops herself, and then realizes, oh, they don't know who you are yet. I just like it's like, oh, yeah. And then she got upset at the fact that he hasn't told people who he really is, and yet he trusts to work with them. So she has that whole thing, and so Batman eventually reveals himself, but then that's short-lived because, well, obviously we get a little bit of people being in disbelief that it's Bruce Wayne. First, they make fun of his name. They say us be, a Bruce. We're being saved by a Bruce, like Bruce running around at night. And then later, when it's revealed as Bruce Wayne, Green Arrow has his own things calling him a flake. And then Black Canary defends him and says he's not a flake. And then it turns out she knew that it was Bruce Wayne for quite some time. And then Green Arrow and her have a little back and forth about their honesty with each other. And then she throws... Now, don't call me out for being sexist here, but just in typical female fashion, she had that little thing just tucked away. Just like, well, you know what? You had Harley in the Arrow Cave. She's been holding on to that for a while. So she just had that just loaded right in the gun, ready to go at any point. So then...
Yeah, finger pretty much on the trigger, probably since she found out.
Waiting for the perfect time. Once again,
been sleeping on that missile for a while, yeah?
Once again, the Arrow Cave and not the Quiver, but she wouldn't know that it's supposed to be called the Quiver, but still, I feel like that should be spread by now. Though the fact that Harley came up with it, she will just call it immediately a bad idea, just because Harley suggested it.
Yeah, that is the Arrow Cave forever now.
Yeah,
forever.
It's gotta be. Otherwise, he needs to downplay that Harley was the one that mentioned that. And then next up, we get a little fight with some Superman worshippers, so to speak, their own little mercenaries dressed up with the Superman symbol. And right off the bat, one of them gets hit by the boxing glove arrow. So we get another appearance from the boxing glove arrow in its green color, of course.
It looks good. Like it's so trivial, but it looks really good.
Yes, and the art in general, speaking of looking really good, the art in this chapter is looking really good. I noticed a lot of great detail, and the overall issue stays pretty good. It changes a little bit in style, but even the other style in like chapter 2 still looks good. It's like shinier, but it's very colorful. And then the chapter ends off with a nice badass group pose for Group Batman, and doing all cool stuff, and Superman's team kind of coming down and putting a kibosh on everything, saying, shut it down. Shut it down. And then Lucius Fox says, if this is here when I'm gone, consider this my residence. Now I'm getting another Batman movie. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's also fitting.
Yeah, no, Lucius Fox is not there. But yes, so Superman's team kind of puts the kibosh on that, and they go their separate ways, and figure it's not time to fight right now. So now we go into chapter 2, which was actually a really strong chapter, in my opinion. We have Flash learning chess faster than Neo learned Kung Fu. He's just plugged into the Matrix there, says put it on Flash mode, Flash speed, and he just learns chess just like that. Which is cool, because you never really think of that as part of his power set. He can move really fast, react very fast. Well, now he can apparently learn things really fast. So that's kind of cool when you think about it that way.
It does go down a dark path, though, because it makes you wonder if this is how fast Flash can learn. You figured he would know a lot more shit than he does.
Yeah. Well, he just doesn't take the time. Even it may take a little time, but he's just lazy.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
yeah,
not like he's saving the world or anything, or eating chips on the couch.
it opens a lot of questions, but yes.
Okay. Um, so then we go into a nice, like, cool little scene where Superman's playing chess with the Flash. They sit down for a game and they're just blowing through games left and right because they both can move so fast that they're just going through like a game within like a sentence or two from each other. Meanwhile, it's kind of interjecting, intersplicing between the two conversations. Superman's talking to Flash about, gun control, basically taking all the guns away from everyone. Then Flash is kind of showing the snowball effect there and the slippery slope of if we do that, then maybe we should start imprisoning people for speeding, this and that. And then, meanwhile, while that's going on, we have Lex Luthor at the Fortress of Solitude actually talking to Superman's parents, Ma and Pa Kent, and they're having a back and forth how they're saying that basically their son's a scared child, and they tell a story about when Superman is a child, he loses his blanket that he loved. I think everyone in their own sense had something when they were a child that they absolutely loved, whether it be a blanket, a pillow, a toy, what have you. Anyways, Superman loses little Clark, loses his blanket. It looked like Crypto was running off with it, which I thought was a cool touch because Crypto does wear the little red cape. So if that's always canon that it's
I didn't even think
Superman's,
about that. That's
yeah,
interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's the cape on Crypto because it was a red little blanket and Crypto was running off with it. At least it looked like Crypto, so that would make the most sense. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of cute. I thought that was very adorable when he's running off with the blanket and using that'll eventually be Crypto's cape. But yeah, so we see that, and then it turns out to be that's when they first found out about his powers because he turned over a tractor when he was upset, and Flash and Superman are still going back and forth. Checkmates all around, but then all of a sudden Flash just starts doing checkmate after checkmate when he's mentioning the slippery slope factor of, well, eventually we just should people jaywalking, we should just kill them, and just going crazy with just examples on how that could just go further and further, and that line could be further pushed back. Meanwhile, like I said, Ma and Pa Kent are talking to Lex, and they're kind of explaining to him that he's hurt and he lost a lot of people. He's lost everything. He lost his home planet. He lost his original parents. He lost Lois. He lost his city. He lost his child. So he's lost everything.
It
And
is almost questionable that he lost his original parents because you look at young Pa Kent in the panel,
yeah,
he looks exactly like Superman, like exactly like Superman.
yeah,
It's
there's some
like fuck,
questionable nature there.
some
I want to
weird shit
see.
going
I
on.
want to see a DNA test done. Put him on Mari.
It's the same hair. Like, it's like, he's even wearing
You are
red,
not
damn
the father. Okay.
it.
Um, I feel like
But
we need to
yes,
make a Dr. Phil timely joke of "Cash me on the outside" or whatever the fuck that. You see that
I
meme
don't
going
know,
around?
Phil.
Cash
I
me
don't
outside.
know.
Cash me out. Cash me out. Catch me outside. How about that? I think that's
I
what she
can't
says.
say I know it. I
Anyways,
can't
that's
say
this
I'm
meme going
familiar.
around. Regardless, let's move on.
Okay.
Silly meme going around. It's funny. Look it up on YouTube. It's just silly. Anyways, it's not even worth talking about, but it's funny. Okay, so then overall, I mean, that pretty much covers it. And then Superman's left in thought. He's just kind of thinking about what Flash has said to him, and he's kind of left it there on that last checkmate. And Lex is kind of thinking about things as well because they basically say one day we feel that civilization is going to be needed to be saved, or the Earth will be need to be saved. I'm struggling here. Earth will need to be saved by Superman. I need to be saved from this damn sentence. Is what I need to be saved from. Earth will need to be saved by Superman. They're fearing that day may come, and they're hoping that Lex will be able to save Superman as well. So, anyways, so he's building the pill to make super soldiers. That's worth mentioning as well, because that's the underlying theme going on of why they're even discussing that with him. He's building a pill for super soldiers, so we may see Captain America here in a few issues. Easy joke aside. So that's what's going on with that. So Lex kind of has a troubled look on his face, like maybe he's rethinking some things. Anyways, we go to the next chapter. Lex is then seen presenting the pill to everyone, such as Damien, and Damien kind of has an issue with it, understanding, this magic pill is going to give these superpowers, but then Lex explains, we're in space, so really, do you have a problem with this magic pill? Like, how do you have a problem with the logic there? obviously anything can happen. So it's some fun little back and forth from Damien, and then he sneaks off with the pill to the Batcave. Fake hot girl who we were thinking was Clayface follows him, and while in the Batcave, he kind of mourns over Dick because they lost him, so he goes over to his costume. Alfred catches him, and he's just kind of, being nice and offering his help and all that fun stuff. Damn it, I said it. I was not going to say it this episode. All that fun stuff. Yeah.
Well, you're allowed to say it. I mean, you don't have to not say it.
No, I don't want it to be like a catchphrase. All that fun stuff. Like, do I do like a little shimmy? All that fun stuff, and then have like a little. Okay, we're gonna stop.
I mean, I prefer, but it's ultimately up to you. I'm a fan of the shimmy, but if you got it,
I did a little one. Okay, so then we see Batman come in. He has a little argument, and he just wants to talk with Damien. Damien throws a big fit, and then Damien almost kills Alfred. But Damien just can't help himself. Granted,
that's what I was like. Okay, this is getting ridiculous, Damien. Like this is just getting silly.
Mr. Butterfingers over there, and then to his credit this time, it appears he has taken the pill. Whether it's something that gives him the powers by proximity, but one would have to think he would have had to taken the pill. So it looks like he probably took the pill that was the prototype that Lex created, because we did see him sneak off with it, and now he's just like accidentally punches Alfred into the giant like monitor that Batman uses. I thought Alfred was going through that monitor and falling down to his death.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
I was just like, what are you doing? Stop touching things, please. Just stop. Just sit in the corner. Let your father talk to you, because you have problems before you kill more people that you love. Or he punches Alfred into the monitor. Alfred, like, he's like freaking out, like, oh my god, no, I killed Alfred. Alfred like gets up, he kind of like dusts himself off. All of a sudden he trips and then cracks his neck on a rock. Just like, you just are the worst luck. No,
it would be a great pattern if Damien accidentally kills someone every like 4 or 5 issues. Like I would get a good laugh.
It would be good. It would be fun. And he just does like a womp womp, Damien. Okay.
I would like to know why Batman has a giant penny inside the Batcave.
Oh, that's a trademark.
Got to be a reason for that.
That's a trademark. Going back through many comics, even the animated series shows the penny. It was from a Two-Face crime, I think, at one point, and Batman kept it. I want to say, I could be wrong on the origins of that, but it's in the animated series. It's in many.
Wow, I've seen all the episodes of the animated series. I've read a lot of 90s Batman. I've never seen that penny.
It was even it was prominently featured in one of the animated series. Like, Two-Face ties Batman to it, I think, at one point. And it's
I remember that now. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's in old comics too. It's from an old comic, I'm pretty sure. So it was actually based. It was like canonically. It has its own origin story. So I forget what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was based around Two-Face. I could be wrong there.
Huh.
So, anyways, he has that penny. So it's cool that they have that always in there. They keep that thing going. So that's neat that they always have that in the background. In this case, it played a factor. Almost killed Alfred. Or Batman, or both. Poor Damien. Except for not poor, because he's a stubborn brat. But
yeah, he's kind of a bitch.
Then we see Hot Girl save the day. She catches the penny. And then he's like, Hot Girl's strong, but not that strong. Who is this? And then it all makes sense. Honestly, this was obvious.
I'm kind of punching myself.
I don't know how we didn't guess this person. Even last episode, I was even saying somebody with superpowers. Like, I don't know if it was last issue or the issue prior, but we're like, somebody with shape-shifting ability and the ability to like disguise themselves as people, and it's like, ding ding ding, that should be Martian Manhunter. It should be obvious, not Clayface, but hey, whatever. At least Clayface is related to Batman. But yeah, Martian Manhunter would be suspect number one. I'm sure people, while they're watching that, they're probably like, you idiots.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Well, I mean, I still didn't get it even after the incendiary blast, because I'm like, oh, the blast triggered his true form. It turns out that Hawk Girl was actually Green Akuma?
Green Akuma.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense now.
He's weak to fire, yeah. He's got like a fire vulnerability thing going on. So that makes sense why he did that. So he must have figured out that it was Martian Manhunter. quicker than we did. So, derp on our part. But yeah, it was Martian Manhunter, which makes sense. And it adds further. Martian Manhunter would be, I would imagine, on the side of Batman, so that makes sense. Martian Manhunter is, for an alien, he's very kind of benevolent to human life.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he'd be on Batman's side. Plus, they have the whole detective thing going on for the both of them. But yeah, so that was a good little surprise there.
If you think about it, he's kind of already been through what Superman's been through. He already lost the son and lost the wife. He's done all that. So he passed. He overcame it. But then again, his trial didn't really have anything he could really destroy or conquer. But he's past that point. So I think he empathizes with Superman, but he understands the dangers that come with that kind of.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like he's emotionally more mature than Superman is. You know, he's been through more shit.
He's more calm, especially in this state. I mean, obviously we're seeing a very extremely emotional Superman, more so than ever. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Martian Manhunter is definitely a calm, level-headed person. I mean, you could put a Choco right on the table. It does not bother him.
I love that.
If you've seen that comic,
I adore
I know
that
you've seen that.
strip.
Check out that comic if you haven't seen it. It's great stuff. Does not bother me. And all of a sudden his tongue just catches it like a fly. Okay, he loves his Chacos. But yes, Martian Manhunter, obviously the most obvious person. We should have guessed it. I mean, it sounded like we would have picked Mystique before we would have gotten the Martian Manhunter by our logic. But hey, I still think Clayface would have been cool. But yeah, Martian Manhunter obviously makes the most sense. And it gives Batman a foe, or like a teammate that has a good degree of power on the level of Superman. So
before we let our audience go, do we think Batman was talking to Martian Manhunter when we were hearing about that, the mysterious conversation about, the speedster dying in the atomic explosion?
It would make sense.
Lex Luthor.
It would make sense. Martian Manhunter, if it wasn't Catwoman, who he's been talking to throughout, Martian Manhunter would make the most sense if I were to take another guess, because Martian Manhunter's a detective as well, and he's just... I don't know. I mean, obviously Martian Manhunter was in disguise the whole time and was Batman's inside man, and that's where he was getting his information on what, Superman was doing. So it makes sense, though now that he doesn't have that sucks. Now that he doesn't have his inside man, that's rough.
It makes sense, but it makes almost too much sense, because when the Huntress asked Batman, how do you know all this about the pill? Inmate Hawkgirl, like fake Hawkgirl, was the one who told him. Yeah. So, absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense, but God, that's a lot of tension and suspense and build-up for just fake Hawkgirl. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, Martian Manhunter was a good reveal. I honestly didn't think of that. Even when they're like, who are you? Who are you really? I was like, is it Clayface? I was still like holding on to the Clayface.
Well, I mean, he looks like Clay in this photo with Martian Manhunter like attributes.
Yeah.
But he's very Clay-like in his liquidiness.
Yeah. And you were still on the thought process that it was Green Akuma. So.
Yes, no. Well, I mean, he still looks like Green Akuma. He doesn't stop looking like Green Akuma just because he's Martian Manhunter.
But yeah, so that was a cool reveal. So now it'll be interested. I'm just excited to have Martian Manhunter part of the comic now. So
that's me too.
So keep looking forward to more episodes and issues. So that wraps it up for this one. And we'll see you for issue 10 tomorrow. And yeah, you guys take care. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Subscribe, like it, you know the rest. And you guys take care. Great issue. Good issue.
Later.
Not great, but good.